Where did you get this terrific self-image?
I have to say from Maslow-Toffler, because I was getting people saying to me, guidance counselors and teachers, that I was going to be a garbage man, or I was a class clown, or whatever you want to call it. But Maslow-Toffler brought out something that I never saw before in me, and that was I was an educated student that never was there before, and I didn't have to put myself down and listen to what they said. And if I believed in myself, I supported myself and didn't let comments from others rip me apart and pull me away. I supported myself so I could stay up and be myself.
And next you're going to be the PR man for the school. But what is a positive self-image?
Positive self-image, in my view, would be a person who believes in oneself, believes that they can be what they want to be, and believe in what they believe in, and not to let any comments or statements rip their insides or reject them, and let them be themselves and always support oneself without worrying about support from others, you know.
Basically, I think it's a different type of an educational system for those type of students that just basically cannot conform to ordinary education. It's an adventure. It's a means of bringing the student out and basically having him educate himself through his own motivation.
Has your son improved his self-image by being here?
I would have to say my son was scheduled for a high school dropout, and in his 2 years here, he will end up being a college student, and we hope a college graduate.
What negative aspects has he developed about his self-image here, if any?
Basically, I believe he has become so totally positive in his outlook on life of being a complete person that there is really nothing negative about he himself or the school. I would...
What is Maslow-Toffler school?
On a personal level, I sent a loving daughter, and she came back a beautiful woman.
Oh, very creepy. All right. How does Maslow-Toffler develop this beautiful person?
By letting them explore and find themselves at their own pace, at their own time, at their own level, and grow.
Great, thank you. Okay, so
My daughter graduated last year.
What is this school?
It's, to me, a place where students or teachers or facilitators, anybody connected with the school, can constantly grow.
In what way did your daughter grow in the sense of having a positive self-image?
She became more aware of what she could do, not what others could do for her.
Did she develop any negative traits?
No, I think that she tends to question herself a little bit more than she used to, and I don't consider that a negative thing. She's interested in exploring what she can do.
Great. What is this school?
Maslow-Toffler School of Futuristic Education is an alternative school, an alternative to the approach to learning.
Do the children here develop positive self-images?
Oh, yes. Oh, yes.
Do they develop anything negative about their self-image?
I think at the age most of them are, they already have lots of negative feelings about themselves. And this is a chance for them to develop positive feelings. If some of them develop negative feelings, I'm not aware of it, because I've only seen very good things.
Good, thank you. What do you understand the school to be?
Well, a good many of my friends went to school here, and the year that I graduated was the year that the school was started. And I understand that the school teaches a lot of young people how to become people. It teaches them to be a complete person, to like themselves, to like others, to not find to be confident even though they have faults.
Right. Do they develop a positive self-image by being here?
Oh yes, very definitely. And they develop something much more, something that I didn't get out of Brentwood High. Being at the top of the class, I never had to learn how to study. And a good friend of mine goes to school here now. And when I came home from college, she was telling me how the school taught her to organize her time and to find time for other things besides her studies, which is very important. It's something that I didn't learn. I had to learn after I went to school. And unfortunately, I had to fail a course to learn that.
Great. Okay, thanks. What is a positive self-image?
It's feeling good about yourself, accepting yourself as a human being, your good side and your bad side, and basically feeling very positive about the way you feel, the way you act, feeling good about yourself.
How does Maslow-Toffler develop this positive self-image?
Well, when I had first come over here, as they had an open house with my daughter, they explained to the kids that they never say, "That's a dumb question," or "That was a dumb answer." There was no negative reaction from the teachers, and I thought that was wonderful, because I think that this is what the kids need. They need positive feedback.
Why did you drive your daughter to go here?
Because I felt she was very shy, and I wanted her to have the advantage of coming here. I think it's a fantastic place.
Okay, thank you.
It was a wonderful experience for me. It certainly, I couldn't say, was always easy. It was difficult. We all know that. And I think it led me on an unconventional path that I don't know I necessarily would have gone on. I mean, I was all set to go to college and do the conventional route, and I ended up doing a totally different path than that. But I think that left me asking certain types of questions I wouldn't have asked ordinarily, and looking for certain types of answers, and that's definitely enriched my life. I think that I've since been looking for a certain type of community that's been hard to find out there. So that's been a little bit of a mixed bag. I mean, on the one hand, I had this wonderful sense of community. On the other hand, it was hard to find it out there in the world. So that left something that wasn't always easily fulfilled. Probably the biggest frustration I feel now is having a daughter who's in junior high and dealing with the public school system, wishing she could have an experience like this. It's so frustrating to see what's considered innovative now in schools, to hear her teacher say, "Well, I let them sit on the windowsill instead of at their desks to read, and this is supposed to be this enormously innovative thing." Like that kind of teacher. To see what the journal has become, for example. What the journal was this private place where one could discover oneself and choose to share it if they want. And from that, the journal has become this book that a student is supposed to write every night, hand it in, the teacher reads it, corrects it for spelling errors, and hands it back. It's so atrocious. So that's the frustration I feel. What I see how little has changed in education, one of those frustrations. So that's a way in which Maslow has affected my view.
How do you feel about that? I mean, when your daughter comes home, she has to write in the journal, and then you know it's going to go back in. Is there anything you can do?
I find that I really can't do much about it because I certainly can't tell her, although hell, what the teacher says, it's not about spelling. Tell her it's any way you want, because she is going to be judged in that way. So unless I'm ready to go in and tackle the whole school system, which I certainly haven't felt like I have the time and energy to do, or put her in some private school, which is not necessarily better. I don't feel like there's much I can do. Certain issues I've attempted to address with teachers as they have arisen, and that's been a mixed response. But it's an ongoing, frustrating thing.
Anybody else got a
Maslow, I went to Maslow for 2 years, 75, 76, 76, 77. It was probably the two most important years of my life. It changed me in so many different ways, and
it was the positive influence that I needed to get through education and to go on into my grown-up future or whatever. I said when I got the phone call from John that to my family that was, you know, I got all excited and it was like all the memories came back and it was so important that I be here. And I spoke to my parents and my mother got insulted. She said, "What do you mean that was the two great? What happened to all these years that have happened since?" And I said, "Wait a minute, you don't understand. I'm not saying that all these years that have happened now, I mean, I have 2 wonderful kids and a 12-year marriage. I mean, all those things are great. My career is terrific. It's just that this was the foundation of my life. I would have been that, if you listen to my father on the tape, which I remember that day, because John will remember this quite well. My dad and I, when I was young, didn't get along at all. And now we're probably best friends. I'm the corporate guy. I mean, I spend a lot of time on a golf course and in business, and we spend a lot of time together. Yeah, it's not me in high school, but to see him speak and remember that day and remember how important our relationship developed because of what MT did for me and how it's still developed through the years, and how I'm relating to my son, who's very little, he's only 3, but I'm trying to do the things that he didn't do, that we're doing, that we should have done when I was 3 and growing up, that I'm not allowing to happen to my son and I. And just a little aside, as you all remember, I always wanted to be an actor and be on the stage, and I didn't go into that direction, but I ended up falling back into it through total asshole way direction.
That's great.
I own my own ambulance business. It's kind of freaky to see your name on a business card as a president of a corporation. But one of my accounts is Madison Square Garden, and I spend almost every day there with concerts and sporting events, and made a lot of friends with famous actors and TV stars and sports stars. And through the ambulance company, we do a lot of movies.